动，全新一季8月10日星期2起，就在 Discovery 曼丽俱乐部。
拼事业不能拼掉健康，葡萄王、张之王护肝效果好。
Taiwan is being buffeted by the strongest typhoon in its history, Morakot. Isolated communities have been cut off for 2 days, struggling to survive the effects of this climate storm. Rescue teams are being tested by record wind speeds and water levels. Mrs. Chen and her grandson from Xiaolin village have been trapped, hungry and wet, for 2 days. Her home slowly disappearing into a sea of water. The rescue services have managed to get several helicopters airborne, braving the storms to search for survivors in the mountains. The risks are high. A helicopter from Taiwan's Civilian Rescue Service flies above Mrs. Chen's home, but sees no survivors. It banks and flies away. The waters are up to their chests. They are fighting to stay alive, clinging to each other to keep warm. Miraculously, the helicopter returns. Her grandson braves the mud and water to signal to it.
直升机，我无看，阮只看我家己好尔，我搁落飞机到先下，我搁伫好咧。乡长咱嘛唔参考，伊都甲我驶去乡公所，摕衫裤我穿，就像我，我带去朋友听了我咧来个。
Mrs. Chen and her grandson survived the worst Mother Nature could throw at them. But just 1 kilometer away, a disaster of unimaginable proportions is about to happen. The heavy rains have now dumped nearly 2 meters of rain on southern Taiwan in just 48 hours. Landslides are being reported on a scale never seen before. It's Professor Liu's worst nightmare. Morakot is a new kind of typhoon, a product of a warmer planet that's creating super typhoons.
从1961年到2005年，我们可以统计出来，台风带来的强降雨，过去45年增加了整整1倍。
One mountain community is about to face the full power of Morakot and pay the ultimate price. The village of Xiaolin is home to about 600, an indigenous mountain people who, for centuries, have lived in harmony with nature. But after Morakot, this would all change. The weather is about to show its darkest side. Luo Shunqi and his family have come back to celebrate Father's Day with his parents. It's the second day of the storm, and the village is flooded and cut off. At 6:20 in the morning, Mr. Luo's father checks to see if the water level has gone down. Unaware that a disastrous chain of events is building, heavy rains have torn off the very surface of the mountain above. Suddenly, Mr. Luo is frozen with awe and fear.
然后整个土石流，嘣的一声，土石流就整个又转向，转到小林国小那边，就很多很多。然后再过了一下之后，整个就你的耳朵就会听到那个山已经啪砰。 然后你当下就知道整个山应该快要下来了，然后过了大概2、3秒，就整个砰，就好像海啸这样，把整个村庄都淹没了。
In just under 10 seconds, the entire village is buried. And with it, nearly 400 residents. The landslide has created a dam. Millions of tons of water and debris are trapped behind it. And in front of it, the village's 42 survivors. The Luo family needs to make an immediate decision.
所以我们还是从2楼跑出来这样子，因为躲在2楼还是会惨遭到那个就是堰塞湖好像要溃堤了，然后堰塞湖再一溃堤，所有的不管是什么建筑物都没有办法抵挡那个洪水嘛。
The family run for their lives up the nearest hillside. But in a panic, Mrs. Luo returns for milk powder to feed her children. As the mountainside rushes down, she starts to run and hears a voice.
我应该是算是所有村庄跑最后一个的人就对了，所以当我跑出我们家门口的时候，我听到有人在叫我的名字，我往回头一看，从土堆里面我公公走出来，他一直叫我，一直跟我挥手，我以为他要叫我回去，因为他这样挥手，因为有点距离，我以为他叫我回去，其实不是，他应该是要叫我赶快跑。
In a matter of seconds, hundreds of lives are lost. Only 42 survived, casualties of climate change. Among the dead was Mr. Luo's father. His remains were never found. When the rescue services reached Xiaolin that afternoon, it's gone. The landslide has buried nearly all of the village. Of the 300 houses, only 2 remain. A helicopter passes by, but the rescue teams can't see any survivors. Hidden, the last 42 inhabitants are struggling up a steep mountain ridge covered by trees. Still in shock, they creep further up the mountainside. Reports relayed to the disaster relief headquarters say that Xiaolin village has been completely destroyed. The helicopter pilot can see no survivors. Morakot has wiped this village off the map. It turns and leaves. The Luo family and the survivors of Xiaolin village are again left at the mercy of nature, pushing on, struggling in a battle to stay alive.
葡萄王张之王荣获